Well, okay, the Heat win game 2. We got a 1-1 series, and that was the most Miami Heat win ever, man, where they just grinded to the win with execution, and also the Nuggets helping them out with some three-point defense that we can dive into. But also the Heat pulling off some pretty wild things defensively, even among Jokic having a great game and all that. I can start with the very last thing real quick, that Murray missed three over Jimmy at the end there, because it's probably going to be a big thing should they have called timeout. Like, yeah, you could have called time. I think that would have been fine. The big thing there, though, was that, Jimmy was on Jokic, and then he was able to switch that screen. And I'm pretty sure there was a play earlier where Murray made a three when Jimmy was on Jokic, and then they switched that. So I guess in his eyes, he was like, I'm going to do it again. But yeah, kudos to Jimmy on that possession. I do want to start with the Heat defense in this one, and then we can get to some of their three-point stuff. Of course, Jokic was amazing with his normal array of just fakes and hook shots and shots that are damn near over his head for three-point plays on Cody Zeller and all that. Or getting the ball in the post versus Jimmy who's fronting him and then he gets the angle on him for something, or Gabe Vincent switching onto him. Okay. But I still think the Heat pulled off a lot of good stuff on defense. And, there were a few plays in the third quarter that just kind of grabbed me, right? Like one of them, they put two in the ball on Jamal Murray, and then it's Jokic rolling, and then Kevin Love just had really good position, and he kind of blocked whether it's going to be a shot or a pass from Jokic, but, he was able to be there for that one. Another play where just a whole bunch of things happened pretty much. So, first off, we have Gabe Vincent doing a hedge on Jokic because he's got the ball and he's trying to get a guard screen for him basically. Vincent gets out to him for a second, then goes with KCP on the cut. As this is happening, MPJ relocates from kind of the wing to the corner. Max Strus does a great job staying glued to him. Then he throws it back to Jokic because the pass eventually did go to MPJ throughout that. And then Bam does a great job of holding up with Jokic on the drive, and then it's back to MPJ out of bounds. It's Heat ball, Nuggets disagree. And then they started doing that thing where, Jimmy, because he was on Murray more in this game, not just at the end there. I mean, he started the game on Murray for some possessions, and, that's part of what, having Kevin Love in there to guard Aaron Gordon can do. And I think I need to take a little bit of an L, because when I was thinking about Kevin Love in the series, I never brought up the idea of him on Aaron Gordon. Yeah, duh, that's an idea. Yeah, then you had the plays where, Jimmy is chasing Murray from behind, and then Bam is in the drop. And there were a couple of times where they were able to swarm Murray, and then one specifically where he tries to get it to Bruce Brown in the middle, but he's got to jump for the pass, so it's really high. Bruce Brown, it rolls out of his hands, and then the Heat are getting something else on the other end. Within the fourth quarter and the zone and everything, Jokic, again, he got his floaters, he got his post stuff on against smaller guys and all that. But there were a couple plays before we go to the other end of this. A common theme was they were trying to front Jokic in the middle of the floor. And again, Jokic definitely did score some points versus the zone, but there were a couple plays where one was just a Jokic bad pass turnover. Another was Bruce Brown being oh crap, I can't get it to Jokic in the middle, let me just go drive, and he missed a layup. He also had a floater later on because Jokic got an offensive rebound, smaller guy was on him, so okay. But anyway, to the other side of this, I do want to start with just the Heat three-pointers, with which they shot 48-point-something%, but also there were two times where KCP fouled a three-point shooter, and a lot of them were good plays for the Heat / miscommunications for the Nuggets. I mean, the one I'm remembering the most was when Duncan Robinson got a down screen from Gabe Vincent, and it's Christian Brown and Bruce Brown involved in the action, and they both go to Duncan Robinson, which means now Gabe Vincent's got an open window, and then Christian Brown has an okay closeout, but, Gabe Vincent was open, and, part of that was the Heat also deciding, okay, we're going to have a little stretch here where Bam is just going to be operating at the top of the key, we're going to run actions around him. Funny enough, they then ran that next play again, and this time the Nuggets, they didn't have two guys on Duncan Robinson, but then Duncan Robinson got a cut. Now, he also kind of powered through Jeff Green a little bit. Shout out to Duncan. Then he also had that crazy deep three on Jeff Green. So, okay, some tough shots. But also, there was that stretch in the first where Max Strus has got open off the Nuggets screwing up some off-ball stuff. I mean, the one where he slipped the screen for Jimmy goes to the corner, and Aaron Gordon eventually got over there. But by that point, Strus was comfortably getting into the three-pointer. Another where he screened for Gabe Vincent, flows to the corner, and I think that was KCP and MPJ just having a miscommunication where they both went to Vincent, so Strus is just wide open for three. Jimmy also created some threes for him. The two I remember the most, he rejects a screen from Jokic, gets to the middle of the floor, and then Gabe Vincent's kind of relocating from one side of the paint to the opposite three-point line, whatever it was. That's a three-pointer for him. That's with Jokic dropping. And there was another where the Nuggets did something kind of weird on defense where MPJ was playing super off of his guys so KCP could zone up Kevin Love and I think it was Max Strus. And so Jimmy, another Bam screen and just kind of goes baseline. He should have been called for out of bounds. Okay. And just kind of shifts the defense enough to where Gabe Vincent's open for three. And then he also had that corner three over Aaron Gordon in the fourth because Jimmy's got to have at least one of those every playoff game, it feels like. So obviously some good execution from the Heat's part and also the Nuggets. There's definitely things they could clean up on the three-point defense. Haven't gotten to Bam yet. The Kyle Lowry Bam pick and roll seemed like it was kind of cooking. I mean, there was at least one other Lowry pull-up three versus a Jokic drop in this one, similar to the first game. We had that three-point play late where Bam, I mean, it's him and Lowry pick and roll, Jokic at the level of the screen, Bam screened the hell out of KCP to get an open thing. Christian Brown was late on the help. Okay, that's a three-point play foul. Another Bam Lowry pick and roll. This one, I think Jokic was in a little bit more of a drop, and that one was just a Bam free throw line jumper, you know. I think the Lowry Bam pick and roll also led to Jimmy getting that three-point play where Bam swung it to him and then he pump fakes, got Gordon off him a little bit, gets to the floater, Gordon fouls him. Jimmy also had that pull-up too versus the Jokic drop where he got the Murray switch initially in the fourth. We'll see if the Nuggets want to have Jokic a little lower on the Kyle Lowry screens, but if Lowry's going to make the pull-up, then, you know, you make him think about it. That's the huge thing. So, biggest takeaways from this, Jokic is still amazing. Never count out the Heat. The Nuggets have some three-point defense things to figure out in the film studies. Jimmy being able to guard Jamal Murray more could end up being huge. It might also mean he doesn't have as much energy for scoring. Of course, he's not on him every single possession. And through 2 games, Bam has had the appropriate amount of aggressiveness as a scorer if you're Miami. And unlike game 1, he didn't take, 20 million shots in this game, so okay.